Today, I'm going to show you how to make your own reusable sanitary napkins at home out of things you already have. You can use your old clothes, so kurtas, t-shirts, pants, leggings. You can also use old bed sheets or old towels. Anything made out of cotton is best. And also you want something, importantly, that can absorb liquid. So the pad we're making today has two parts. One is this outside cover, and the other is just a square of cloth that we can fold and put inside. For this part, something like a piece of towel or a piece of a t-shirt works well because they can absorb more. The great thing about making these at home is that you can try different materials and decide what you like best and what works best for you. So to get through your whole period, you'll need to have at least 4 of these. I personally like having 7 or 8 because that way they have enough time to dry before I use them again. So now I'll take you step by step on how you can make your own sanitary pads. Let's get started. The first thing we'll do is make our pattern. For a regular or day pad, you'll make the pattern 9 inches long. For a night or heavy pad, it will be 11 inches long. In this video, I'm going to make a day pad. Start by taking an A4 sheet and folding it in half the long way. Along the middle crease, we'll measure 9 inches, making one mark at the end and the other mark at 9. We'll also make a mark in the middle at 4.5 and then about 1.5 inches on either side of this, around 3 and 6. This is where our wings will go. Now we'll measure from the middle in the other direction, 3.5 inches on either side of the crease. In total, it will be 7 inches. These are your wings. I like to make a small mark at the 4 corners of the wings. The main part of the pad will measure 3 to 3.5 inches across. I'll also make dots to mark the width. Then we can begin connecting the dots to make the outline. Now I'll cut the pattern out by folding the sheet in half again and cutting around the outline. Next, we'll trace and cut the pattern on the cloth. I'm using an old shirt and pant. To get it ready, I'll first cut away or cut open all of the seams. Lay your piece of cloth flat and begin to trace. You can use a sketch pen, regular pen, pencil, chalk, anything that will make a mark. Now I'll do the same with the second piece. Then we'll carefully cut both our pieces. Now we have the top and bottom part of our pad. We'll place one on top of the other and line them up neatly. And we'll pin them together with pins, needles, whatever you have, to make sure they stay in place while we sew. Now we're ready to sew. Begin by threading your needle and measuring out your thread. I recommend using 2 arms lengths of thread folded in half so that it doesn't get too tangled as you sew. Once you've cut your thread, tie the 2 loose ends together in a knot and untangle the rest of your thread with your needle at the end opposite the knot. To make the pad, we'll be using a backstitch because it's nice and strong. You'll start your backstitch by pulling the needle all the way through the cloth until it reaches the knot. We'll call that hole A. You'll then push it back through to the front in a second hole, hole B. Then we'll take the needle and pull it back through the first hole we made, hole A. Pull it all the way through and we'll make a third hole now, hole C. Now we'll again take the needle backwards through our second hole, hole B, before we pull it through and make a fourth hole, hole D. We'll repeat this, taking the needle backwards again through hole C and then forwards to a new hole, hole E. And we'll repeat this stitch all the way around. Here's what it looks like when we actually do it. I start by making the first hole from front to back and then bringing the needle back through the second hole to the front. I pull my thread all the way through until it reaches the knot at the end. Then I take my needle and put it back through the first hole again. I'll pull the needle through and skip the second hole and make a third hole just in front. Now again, I'll take the needle backwards and again put it through the second hole. Then I'll skip over the third hole to make a fourth hole just in front. And I'll repeat this process all the way around the edge. The smaller you can make your stitches, the stronger they will be. If you run out of thread at any point, you can always make a knot, measure a new piece of thread, and start again from where you left off. When we get to the end, we'll need to make a knot. Make 2 or 3 stitches on top of each other in the same holes at the point where you start and end. Then we'll pass the needle underneath the stitch. Before we pull it all the way through, we'll pull it back through the loop of thread. This will make our knot. We'll make a double knot to make it extra secure. And then you can cut it off. Now you have the outside part of your pad. But first we will need to flip it. So we'll take out the pins. To flip it the right way, we're going to make a small cut in the back part of the pad. Very carefully separate the front and back pieces of cloth from each other. Make a small hole only in what will be the bottom side of the pad. Then we'll carefully cut a slit about 4 inches in the middle of the back of the pad. It's also a good idea to sew around the edges of the slit you've made in the back. This will keep it from fraying or tearing further. Now we pull the cloth through the pad to flip it the right way. And you're done. Now you can take a towel or a part of a t-shirt, you fold it, put it inside. You can make it as thick as you need it to be. And you're ready to use. You can pin the wings at the bottom, or if you have buttons or hooks, you can also sew those on. Remember to change your pad every 4 to 6 hours, just like you would a disposable pad. Immediately after removing your pad, soak it in cool water for at least 30 minutes. Do not use hot water or it will leave stains. Wash it very well with soap and put it in the sun to dry. This step is extremely important. The sun kills bacteria. This helps keep you from getting infections. I'm sure some of you might feel embarrassed that someone might see your pads. But remember, periods are completely natural. They are nothing to be ashamed of. But if you do still feel shy, you can always put a thin cloth over them while they dry. Once they're completely dry, they're ready to use again. You should never use a pad that is still wet or damp. You could get an infection this way. You can reuse them until the cloth tears or wears out. This saves you money, is good for your body, and is good for our earth. So what I really love about these pads is that they are much more comfortable than disposable ones. The disposable pads are also full of plastic and chemicals, which are really harmful for our bodies. But since these are made of cotton, it's natural and so it's much healthier for us, as long as we wash and dry them properly. Disposable pads also take hundreds of years to break down in the earth. So this way, we're not contaminating the earth with all that plastic either. And since we can use them over and over again, we also save money on buying pads every month. So now that you know how to make your own pads at home and what's so great about them, it's your turn to teach others, your friends, your sisters, your mother, how to make theirs. Once you've made yours and tried it out, let me know how it goes in the comments below. Happy sewing!